journey home is one filled with gratitude and joy, confusion and revelation, reconnection, just in general, a lot of emotions. For the guys, it all starts on the first day of work release.
Coming from Westville, it was refreshing.
My first day of work release was like somewhat of a lighthearted shell shock. I remember that day like it was yesterday because I woke up at 5:25 in the morning and then I got there and I was like, okay, I will always remember this day. And then we took a trip and we got there. One, just hopping in the van because everywhere I've traveled since I've been locked up, I've always been chained up with this black box and all this stuff like that. And we was leaving that morning, it was like you just hop in the van. And I was like, oh snap! I'm like, all right, I'm about to be free now. Yeah.
Although they don't have true, full freedom yet, just getting out of the prison environment is transformative.
The first day out of Westville was like a 300,000-pound weight being lifted off of my shoulders. For some strange reason, I didn't know that there was a cloud, and a weight that was on me like that. But as soon as I was rolling away from Westville, I definitely felt, an upliftment in my spirits and everything. It's a shame to say, but that's the truth.
You can instantly feel the pressure being lifted when you go into the facility, surrounded by gates instead of concrete.
It was good, but, still not being all the way free. Just within my gut, it's like, I'm still incarcerated. But it was a good experience. And honestly, even from July the 1st, I'm still taking all this in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I get geeked up, like I was just in a joint, like insane, not even a year ago.
It takes time to acclimate to the world beyond the walls. Inmates get minimal practice and preparation in prison for re-entering society, which leaves it up to them to figure out how to act in a new environment. Once again, Chris hits us with a movie reference to explain his experience at South Bend.
Have you ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption? I'm not gonna say I coined the phrase, but I was only the dude that was saying it when I got to South Bend, and I was like, man, hey, I gotta watch the Morgan Freeman moments, because Morgan Freeman's character Red, when he got out of the joint, he'd been in the joint for 40 years, and now he was working at this grocery store, and he kept on telling his boss, like, hey, boss, I gotta pee. And his boss had to come tell me, he said, hey, man, look, you don't gotta ask to use the bathroom, And so when it's a lot of stuff that when you get there, that you just like, can I do this? Can I do this? And you just like, hey, man, watch the Morgan Freeman moments.
Getting used to everyday activities can be difficult, but Chris finds the joy in it.
It sounds funny, man, but putting jeans on and stuff, I felt like a dog standing on his hind legs, And I think one of the funniest things when I got there was, it was this old school dude named Philco. He had been locked up like 30 years. He went home last month. And he's like, hey man, I got something for you. And I'm thinking he's just about to show me some pictures on his tablet or something like that. My nephew Birdie sent me some stuff. He got married. And he gave me $15, green money. I hadn't seen money in years and years and years, and so I'm holding the money, and I'm like, this all me? He's like, what do you mean it's all me? It's $15. I'm like, man, thank you, So that was like, man.
Money isn't the only green the guys need to get used to seeing. Green trees, green grass, and green plants are certainly a sight for re-entering eyes after being in a bleak concrete prison for decades. The freedom to be out in nature is definitely something many of us take for granted.
When we went on a fishing trip, as soon as I got there, it was like, okay, now you can go down to the lake. And I'm thinking this is a setup. As soon as I walked down there, they're about to write me up. And my counselor was out there, so she was like, no, you can go. I'm still looking at her incredulously. She I'm telling you, it's not a setup. I'm basically walk me down here. So she walked me down there. I'm so you telling me I can fish out down here? She's like, yeah, you can fish. The lake is 327 acres. The park was 3,840 acres. She's like, yeah, you can go anywhere you want to go. And I'm just you cut it out and got a fishing pole, so it's so one, they just dropped us off. So I'm thinking my captors, this dropped me off here. So I'm okay. And I'm walking down the little driveway, bang, and I was I seen the tree, and I'm yo, that's the bark of a tree, that's the trunk of the tree. And I was just you know what? I can touch this tree, and then just put my hand on it. And I was just yeah, man, I'm one with nature out here. But it's the Morgan Freeman moments that you gotta watch out for.
These Morgan Freeman moments balance out the moments spent reflecting on prison life, trying to comprehend how much time has passed and all that you've missed.
Like, man, people just don't know, like, what you take from yourself. Because the crime I did, I committed, I did everything. And so I don't ever be like, oh, they took 20 years of my life. Like, no, I gave them 20 years of my life. But then when I'm getting out here in reentry, it's like, dang, this is what I deprived myself of, you know. Just being back around people that's happy to be alive, because I know that now, ever since 2020, it's been an intensity of, I'm just gonna say negativity, but to me, there's also been a rise of positivity, and people really want to get their hands in and do, you know, things that's conducive to, like, I guess the overall progression of the soul of the world, I guess, you know, I don't know, that sounds like all metaphysical or something. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's still the ghetto or whatever, but we got here the first time, we roasted hot dogs on the bars. Yeah. It's like, man, what you do? Indiana, man. Roasted hot dogs and behind, you know.
Roasting weenies and reconnecting with people is what reentry should be all about. Priority on the latter, though. Seeing the guys he knew from Westville was something Jason thought of when remembering his first day at South Bend Reentry Center. So what was your first day of work release like?
Just getting oriented, if you will, the excitement of a new beginning and a reunion with all the individuals that I knew. I ain't seen in years, and being able to see them at the same juncture that I was at, you know, thriving, and, you know, just the optimism and the readiness, you know, to get to work and stuff like that.
But he wasn't the only one who thought of the other guys re-entering.
I got back around some guys that I've been locked up 20 years. And I've never seen these guys in street clothes except for the guys that I knew when I was on the street. So as soon as I got there, you in intake, and a couple of guys I knew I was coming. So they walking by and they got shirts on, button-up shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, man, this is crazy.
For one, I've seen a lot of guys I've been doing time with over the years. You know, it was guys I hadn't seen probably since early 2000. And just knowing the camaraderie we had when we were behind, you know, a lot of us was behind the wall. And just seeing that guys had finally made it to the point where they about to get out. And, you know, just how they embrace, you know, how we embrace each other, you know, seeing what we needed.
Bonds like these are so special and important in finding home after incarceration. After all, having the emotional support from loved ones alongside your journey is one of the most important factors for successful reentry.
When I say family, it's not just relatives. I'm talking about people I've met over the years, some church members, some close friends that were doing time with me that have been out for years, you know, successful business and stuff like that. So my main support system is people that I consider family. And I always say family isn't always who you're born with. Sometimes the people you find, sometimes the people who find you. I have a huge network of people I've met over the years because, you know, as you don't know, I've been gone like 30 years and 32 days. So anytime you can have anybody to do anything for you, I've learned outside of your family member, people to know you, it's a blessing. You know, you got to look at it for a blessing because don't nobody owe you nothing.
However, the guys do feel they owe other people re-entering society some guidance.
Don't buck the process. Take full advantage of all the programs they have. You know, they got some really good things to offer because you can really, really learn. You can glean a lot from it. And whenever opportunities present themselves, take advantage of them. Like, this could be a life-changing experience, which I feel like it is. So take advantage of every opportunity that's available to you. Don't take it for granted. Stay thankful. Stay humble. Like Kendrick Lamar say, sit down, be humble. Humility's huge.
It's always a learning process as well as a teaching process.
It's always what you make it.
But with guidance also comes a warning from Haji.
Take it serious, because they got a place for you. They're building them. They're building another part of, you know, they're building penitentiaries, you know, so.
And we know Haji never lies. The IDOC has already approved the construction of a new maximum security correctional facility on the grounds of Westville with a larger population capacity. So what can we do? How do we build a better reentry system? We want these individuals to be contributing members of society, but how do we as society contribute to them? In the next episode, Andre, Chris, Jason, and Raymond share their experiences with the Community Change Center and how the reentry process can work and needs to work beyond the IDOC. This is Voices of Reentry. Narrated by Lillian Gramza, produced by Julia Martin, music by Blue Dot Sessions, cover art by Kelly Kowalski. Special thanks to Sam Burgett, the Community Change Center, and Valparaiso University's Social Action Leadership Team. And Andre, Chris, Haji, Jason, Jerome, and Raymond. Thank you.